Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the Spiritual Awakenings podcast, brought to you by Heart Over Ego Radio. Veteran teacher and healer Jennie McDaniel and podcast host Drew Pillow bring you an hour of entertaining and informative discussion, live calls, and healings for your infotainment pleasure. So be sure to tune in, call in, share the link on Facebook and social media with your friends, and get ready to enjoy the show. Thank you. Hear ye, hear ye. It's Sunday, and that's our old intro music. We have new music. I'm going to welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Everyday Psychic Show. Healing, guidance, and readings for everyday people just like you. To find your way. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Everyday Psychic Show. Healing, guidance, and readings for everyday people just like you. To find your way to your highest self and living your best life. Hosted by Jennie McDaniel and Drew Pillow.
I like them both.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Technical difficulties and all is a beautiful opening to a beautiful show on a beautiful day with beautiful people like me and you, of course. And, of course, our beautiful co-hostess with the mostest, quantic karmic healer, massage therapist, psychic medium, and everything else in between. Jennie McDaniel, what's up? Veteran podcast host, Jennie McDaniel. How are you today, Jennie?
I'm good, but I'm not the veteran podcast host. That's you, Drew Pillow. I'm doing it for more than 10 years. You started right at the beginning of it all. It's good to be here with you. I always enjoy our Sundays together, and we have a special guest who I'm excited to bring on whenever you feel like it's time, Drew. Kimberly. Kimberly is the first show I listened to of Drew's. He had her on back years ago. It must have been 6-7 years ago. I was living up in Nederland, Colorado, beautiful little mountain town. And he had Kimberly on, and I called in and got a reading. And it was from there on that I was like, I want to be the psychic on the other end of the line. And here we are. So Kimberly brought us all together, really, in a way.
Kimberly is a psychic medium, soul centered genealogist. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry. You're going to find out in just a minute because we're going to bring her on. Let me first tell you what her message is. Her message is, quote, I'm here to illuminate the wisdom of your soul. You don't need answers. You are the answer. I know and respect this about you. When the challenges of being human distract you from your truths, my services will encourage you to create, choose, love, decide, and show up in our world with a clear mind and unhindered heart. Oh, I feel better already. This show is over. Thank you. And no, okay. So that's so beautiful. And I think that at the end of this show, you're going to be impressed not only with, our show, which is here every Sunday at this time, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, 1 Pacific, but also with our guest, Kimberly Virdure. We need to learn how to pronounce her name. And we're going to give you a link to her website and ways to get in touch with her after the show if you so desire. So without any further ado, unless you have anything you want to say, Jennie, before we bring our guest on.
Let's bring her on. I'm excited.
Okay. We don't have an applause button, so check this out. Kimberly, how are you?
Thank you. I'm doing well, and I'm happy to be here. I didn't know I played any part in you two connecting, Jennie. That was awesome to hear.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy to be here.
And I have beyond the show that we did in the past, I also utilized Kimberly's services through her website once upon a time. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I spoke highly of you to my family and friends, and I think a couple of them actually connected with you too. So, let's see what we're going to talk about today. So, Kimberly, what do you do?
I exist.
Mm-hmm.
And in that process of existing, I've done many things and been many things, but the common thread among all that I offer is an acknowledgement of our individual human experiences. you have to pick titles, like psychic medium, so people have a gist of what you have to offer. But to me, it's really just about communing with our fellow humans and acknowledging that, this is hard. Humanity being on Earth, navigating our lives, it's beautiful, and it could be many things, but it's hard, and we need one another. And I think whether it's genealogy, exploring the past, how you've come to be, and the genetic inheritances that you're evolving, or if it's being centered in the moment through a soul reading, or if you're really wanting to be sure you're aligned and grounded as you create your future, the common thread is really bringing us always back to the present. And I guess in a nutshell, that's what I do, is I create a space for people to be present with themselves, minus all the static and distractions in the world. We all need that time daily, as much as possible, to stay true to who we are.
Yeah, let's translate that into Drew terms, because I want to say layman, but a lot of laymen are a lot more knowledgeable than me. So let's put it into Drew terms. Like, okay, let's say, I'm a student. I have tons of classes. I'm stressed about it. I'm parenting my children. I'm stressed about it. I'm in a relationship. I'm stressed. And, some days are like so wonderful and some days are so stressy. And sometimes I just feel really overwhelmed and I wonder if it's going to get better. And I get like, concerned about the future and carrying things from the past, like, oh, I shouldn't have did that. And it's just like, this can be my existence. Now, what would you say to me? How would I benefit from connecting to you?
Well, in the scenario you gave, you're basically speaking for everyone, right? You get to switch out, right? You can switch out student with something else and parent with something else, Again, I just create a space to put all that aside, because a lot of what you mentioned was projecting into the future and holding on to the past.
Mm-hmm.
And we know, we all know this, that the future and the past have nothing to do with right now, unless we hold on to habits of thought that keep us stuck in the past, right? Or comparison and judgment, that sort of make us feel threatened about our future. So at any given moment, if we're in the present and you're feeling stressed, I create a space just to remind you, basically, because I'm not ever saying anything that the person I'm speaking to doesn't know for themselves. I just literally pick up and I can feel what they're exuding, the thoughts that are creating feelings within them. I feel the feelings, and somehow I'm able to understand the thoughts behind them. And I can pick up on the energy and feelings of the people around them. But really, when I'm working with someone, I'm experiencing their perception of their existence. And it's rare in our normal interactions to interact with anyone that way. So that's the one thing I offer, because I'm a neutral source. My best work is with people I don't know and I've never met. So we're not even caught up on what you did yesterday and what your mom said and what you should be doing. And, it's none of that. And so when you clear all that static away, and you're just in the moment, literally, I'm aligned with your heartbeat in the moment. What happens then? Now, what happens then is different for everyone. I've never had two sessions that are alike. So what would be said or shared with you would be completely different than what's shared with someone who may be in similar circumstances. That's the other thing. None of us, there's no one answer or right way for everybody.
Yeah, we're all different and unique, but we're all striving to be alike and compete with each other so bad.
Not all of us.
Well, not all of us.
Well, think of the ones who aren't, right? And some, sometimes they're disliked, and they're disliked or intensely loved, because it's so refreshing to see someone that's not trying to fit in. So that's threatening to a lot of us, you know?
Yeah, it's like Jenny's doing clearing. Is it kind of related to what you do also, Jenny, when you clear and you do, the energy work with people? Is it all like for the same purpose, to clear away things that are keeping us from being present in the now?
I do it similarly to Kimberly. I check in with my client and I feel feelings. I feel stuff. Whatever's surfacing to the top, I'll feel that emotion, and we work with that. And often I will relate it to the chakras, or my spirit guides will travel us to a parallel existence, and we'll do some pattern healing there. Maybe there's fear around a certain topic, and it's been several lives that this person's dealing with this, and their highest self is wildly interested in breaking this karma. I help facilitate a safe journey to parallel existences for people to get awareness, which is ultimately the biggest impact around healing, is just being aware. It's one of the first steps, like healing an addiction. I have a problem. One of the first steps, just the awareness and the understanding. It's heavy. So all my healer friends, including Kimberly, we hold space and give information from the most humble spaces. And there's a lot of us out there, and no one psychic is the best. What you're doing is looking for tunes or frequencies or feelings that you resonate with. I'll have clients for years and then never talk to them again, and they'll pop back up 5 years later because they were working with another group that was helping them get where they needed to go. We're facilitators, and it's a good job. I like it.
Well, there's a couple topics that I want to make sure we cover today from a chat with Kimberly with you earlier in the week, talking about myths about psychics and your beliefs about that topic. And I want to make sure we cover that, but also, if you guys don't mind me being so controlling, I want to also make sure we take a few calls here and there as we go. So if you guys don't mind me being like the air traffic controller and kind of like shifting from discussion to a call or two and then back to discussion, is that cool with you guys?
That's cool with me, yeah.
Cool.
Sounds good.
So are we both reading, Jenny? Or are we just kind of, what are we, tag teaming? What are we doing?
What do you prefer? Do you want to tag team, or do you want to go one right after another? I'm open to both.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we could just flow,
Let's flow.
Yeah.
Flow is good. Yeah. Flow is good, but because of the time constraints on this show, we only have 45 minutes left. We have to have a controlled flow. So meaning that, let's try and keep everything under 5 minutes, if that's doable. Is that too much pressure to put on you guys?
Help me, Drew, because I lose all sense of time, when I'm doing. Because I do. There's no time. So you have to chime in and say, hey.
I'll be like, excuse me.
Yeah, 30-second warning, right?
Yeah. So that way we can make sure we do justice to all the listeners and all the callers and all the topics. It's hard to get an hour seems like a long time, but it's not. It's not. It is when you're sitting in church, but it's not when you're when you're sitting with somebody you really like. So no offense to church, like church. So let's go ahead and let's do a caller. Let's get a caller out of the way right now. Callers, this is the Everyday Psychic Show. Jennie McDaniel and Drew Pillow are your host and hostess. And our special guest today is Kimberly Virdure. Am I pronouncing your name right, Kimberly?
Yes, it's Virdure.
Virdure.
I'm known around the social networks as Knowing Soul.
Knowing Soul. And your website?
Much easier to remember. My website is kimberlyvirdure.com. And because no one ever remembers how to spell it, you always go to my blog, knowingsoul.com, and there's a link to connect with me. It'll take you back to kimberlyvirdure.com. You could book a session from there. So it's probably easier to remember, knowingsoul.com.
And I'm actually putting that on the website right now. If you're checking us out on Blog Talk Radio, go ahead.
Instagram. I don't play with Facebook a lot. I like Instagram. So I'm Knowing Soul on Instagram. Knowing
Soul on IG and knowingsoul.com and kimberlyvirdure.com. Virdure.com. Okay. I'm putting all that on the Blog Talk Radio page. If you go to Blog Talk Radio, you can see it right there. And also, if you can, take a moment to follow our show on Blog Talk Radio and whatever podcast app you listen to, whatever you listen to podcasts on, go ahead and search us out and follow us. We are Heart Over Ego Radio. That is our big umbrella network that hosts this show. So we appreciate you doing that for us. It doesn't cost you much. Actually, it doesn't cost you anything, but you'll get benefits. So here we go. First caller, are you ready? Are you nervous? I know you may be, but I hope that you aren't. Calling from 773. Caller from 773-435. What's your name?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, my name
Hello.
is Tiffany. How are you?
Tiffany.
Can you hear me?
Hello, Tiffany.
Yeah, we hear you.
Hi.
What's in your house today, Tiffany?
What's in my house?
Your heart. Let's see your house. Let's see your refrigerator.
Okay. Well, I hope everyone is well, first off. My thoughts are just, do I have bad juju around me right now?
Absolutely not. Okay. You know, and what I'm instantly getting like who told you that? You know, it's almost like we're going back to early conditioning, you know, and certain things being conveyed in a way that if you're good, right, good things will happen, and if you're bad things will happen. I'm getting this idea of needing to release some guilt about something, and we all have it. Not saying you've done something horrible to someone. It's almost like they're giving me this idea that you've been in positions to care for others, maybe taking on more than was good for you to take on. And I see you like getting a backlash from the ways you've made yourself available to people and drained yourself. I don't know now. When I do this work, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I just say what comes through. So I rely on you to let me know if that's making any sense to you, because I don't know. So are you ready to meeting?
I had a very tumultuous year last year. The hardest year of my life, honestly, and I know it's always lessons in everything we experience. And I just, you know, I wanted to make sure that nobody did any hexes on me or anything like that.
No.
Yeah.
No. So I'm like getting this vision of you being, oh my gosh, like I'm seeing a lot of light and like sparkles coming off the light, and it's like you don't even realize that you're shining. You don't even realize your shine because you're recovering, right? It takes time to recover from trauma, and you have to honor that, give yourself time. But any bad juju may come about from thoughts about that, and so they're still taking me back to really part of this process is becoming clear about what you've been taught in life and how some of those things are still playing out in your mind and your heart. That maybe this happened because of me, and maybe this happened because I chose this person, and maybe it just happened because you're interacting. You know, there's over 7 billion people or whatever, and they all, everybody's out for themselves. We cannot control. We cannot always know what others may present in our lives and how we'll react to it or respond to it. So you're being human, and you're experiencing, they're talking about what you're experiencing cracking you open. And at the end of the day, when you remember your sparkle and your shine, you're going to realize, you know what? You know, I needed that jolt to kind of step into my heart again, for real this time. Because it feels like the situation was surrounding you, sort of aligning with certain people because they fit the list. They seem to look like what, you know, in the beginning, we go back before the confusion, because they're relating this confusion to a key person having a level of control for what was happening in your world. Is that the case?
It was a couple people, actually.
Okay, so don't beat yourself up for saying, well, why did I let those people in my life? Like I should know. You know, no. You know, anytime your heart is open, it's not wrong and it's not bad. And what you're really working through is not like you're releasing these hold on. Yes, attachment. Again, word like you had certain expectations. I will be this for you in your life, and then I expect things to go good for me. I expect things to go well, and if I'm giving out good, then I expect good. That is not how life works. Okay, bad things happen to good. And we can't always protect ourselves from what other free souls are wandering around this earth doing. So that's the guilt I think I saw. You're just really letting yourself off the hook. And it comes from realizing I can't control the world or the people. I can't. Like you already feel lighter just realizing that. It's like, well, damn, you know what? I can drop all that and do something today that lifts me up. How about going to the water? Are you near the water?
Well, it's raining.
Are you near the water? It's raining, but are you still near the water? That's fine.
No.
They're showing me a body of water.
I don't have any lakes or anything or ponds near me necessarily.
Okay. Well, I don't know what it is about water that feels like even if you just watch, maybe you go on YouTube and find some of that footage of water running. And just, imagine yourself being there. It's kind of like literally getting out of your head and just realigning with things that bring you joy no matter how small. You are not at fault. And there's nothing you could have done different. And for God's sake, please let go of the idea that anyone could put anything on you that would disempower your soul. That cannot happen. You walk in that knowing, and you won't need protection from a thing.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
I wish you could ask more.
By the way, congratulations. They're talking about you closed that off really clean, like there's certain people that you knew you got to a point where it's like, this is it. I am not doing this, right? They're showing that you did take the step to make a clean cut from those that just weren't serving your well-being.
I did.
Is that so?
Did you do that?
That's true.
You did?
That's true, and yes.
So now once you let go of this idea that something bad might happen again or who can I trust, right? Just find little things every day that elevates you. And it's nothing, the people, places, and things, just get out of your head and enjoy the moment kind of thing. And when the opportunity comes again, like when it's time to consider letting someone in your world, you don't even worry about it. You know. You in your heart, you'll know. Like you had to go through what you went through, but you know that, right? In your core. If you had avoided it, you would be as numb as you were 5 years ago. But now you're starting to feel alive, and it's scary because now you're stepping out in a way you never have before. That's all that's happening. That's all good juju.
Good juju.
Thank you very much, lady.
So, So in closing, I just want to ask you, Tiffany, really quickly, and I recognize your sparkle too, even from far away, even in ways that don't even seem like, people are watching. Sometimes you don't know who's watching, you don't know who you affect. And I see you and I see your sparkle all the time. And it's real.
It's
so
beautiful.
Thumbs what'd you say?
It's beautiful. I see it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Tiffany? Thumbs up or 2 thumbs up?
I give them 2 thumbs up. Thank you. You guys did great.
Okay, we appreciate you. I'm going to put you on hold.
Thank you.
And one good thing about, finding something that makes you feel good, I mean, there's all kinds of things. I love water. I love when you said water. I love water. I don't have water near me, but I get in the shower and I just go all kinds of places. And that's not supposed to sound weird, but I do. I love the water. And one good thing you can do is you can subscribe to our podcast and you can listen in to us and get on this positive wave with us every Sunday. And so, Kimberly, I really appreciate it and enjoyed that, what you told her, especially the way you came out the gate. You was like, nope, put an end to that thought. I
know, yeah.
That was fire. We have lots of callers. I appreciate you callers being patient on the line. We're going to get to you one by one. And let's take one more, and then let's get to this topic that I think is I'm really curious and interested about. Let's see. What it says is your perspectives is basically you seem like you have a different type of perspective on the myth about psychic mediums, and we're going to talk about that because a lot of people have a lot of different ideas of what a psychic medium is, and even some psychic mediums. Maybe your belief system is different from theirs. I'd be curious to know what yours is. So I'm teasing, but before we go into that, let's take another caller real quick. This caller is from somewhere, I don't know. I think they're calling from Skype. Let's see. Caller from Skype, what's your name? Boop, you're live. Caller from Skype, what's your name? Maybe you're not ready yet, so I'm going to put you back on hold. This is the way the rules work. When you call in, if you press the number 1, that's indicating to me that you're ready to talk. But if you're not, then don't press the number 1, or else I'll put you on blast like that, and no offense to you. So let's go ahead and take this caller from 480 area code. Been holding the longest. So caller from 480, what's your name, and what's your questions for today?
Hi, my name is Keisha from Arizona. I just wanted to ask you if you're in a job soon.
Hi, Keisha. Now
Hello.
I'm seeing like a whole lot of stuff. Hold on one second. Okay. I'm seeing a lot. Okay. But does this have to do with transportation, or is it that you're like driving a lot? Like there's a lot of wheels spinning, a lot of moving from place to place to place. And it almost feels like you're putting a lot of effort into physically showing up where, to the places you need to be to make those contacts and get the interviews. Have you just been in that really active mode?
A little bit, but no, not really.
Okay.
But I have been kind of going out a little bit.
Okay, so maybe that's why I'm seeing that. Like, it's time to like get offline and go out into the world, face-to-face types of interaction, and show up. They're talking about people needing to see you and hear you and what you have to offer versus reading it, on a job site or on a resume. And they're talking about the rubber hitting the road. So will you get a job soon? Everything depends on your willingness to really go in on this. They're talking about the rubber hitting the road because you need that job soon. They're showing that, like I'm feeling a pressure that's almost blocking me from having the energy to get out and do what I need to do because I'm worried about what if I don't get you. Okay?
Yeah.
And so the medicine, the remedy for that is to go out the front door and figure out what that is. And they talk about, I just see a lot of driving, a lot of transit, just going, but it's not that it's going to be easy and something's going to fall in your lap. It feels like really all of this is happening to shake you up and to get you to show up more in the world. They're talking about handshakes, eye to eye. Hearing you speak is so important to what you do. Is what you do is communication a key point of what you do? Like you're going to be offering a service where you're going to be paid to communicate certain things to people. Is that the case?
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. But I don't have the money to get the license for that. And that's why I still need a job.
Tell me what it is.
Huh?
What is it? What is it? License
no, I
for
can't
what?
because I can't because they people crazy and they listening. I'm not trying to jinx it, but it is. I need the license to get this. I know exactly because that's what it sounds like. I need to. What I be doing is going kind of house to house and shaking hands and talking to them eye to eye and showing my integrity and showing them that I really know what I'm doing. But that's what but I need the license, and I do need a couple of $100, and I was kind of thinking about like holding off on paying my rent and just going on with this, but I'm kind of scared because my rent still needs to be paid.
You hear all this? You hear the content of your thoughts? You hear how that's blocking you, right? You've already decided, in order to do this, I'm going to have to make these sacrifices. So spend today. And they're talking about music, like being your that thing that releases you from all this thoughts. Dance a little, whatever it is, let it out, and just decide. I have what I need. I just need to allow it to unfold. And
Okay.
what's in your heart to do, which you already know, let it
Right.
happen. It will work out.
Okay.
In the meantime,
Okay.
they're talking about, like they're showing me a bridge. In the meantime, there's things you can do in the immediate future to ensure that you have the income coming in that you need. It's like it's not that you do one thing or the other. So there's multiple things happening here. And like I said,
Yes.
it's not going to just be easy.
Uh-huh.
It's not going to be like,
Yeah.
yes. But it's
That's
going
true.
to be fun.
That's true.
It's going to be empowering once you get out there
I hope
and
so.
start to see things
Okay.
moving. But you have to get
Okay.
out or it won't happen.
I know.
Now I want to jump in really quickly. I want to say this. I love it when you say, yes, I know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, oh, ooh. And, just feeling that energy. I'm loving it. I feel it. It's like a connection, and it's like perfect. Sometimes it takes me days to catch it. Like, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. And then days later, I'm like, oh, now I get it. I love that you're getting it right now. So
yeah.
I'm glad you called in. We really appreciate you calling. And
Thank you for
unfortunately,
having
we
me.
only have like 5 minutes per person. So
All right, no
I'm
problem.
going to put you on hold. Appreciate you, Keisha. Put you on hold. It sounds so rushed, doesn't it? It sounds so rushed. Like, I wish we could give everybody. We can give everybody more time. What you have to do is just
We
have to
covered
keep.
a lot.
Huh?
We covered a lot in 5 minutes. That was a lot.
Yeah, it was. But it just felt like there was so much more that you could.
There always. Listen, and just so everyone knows, I have free introductory meetings for all my services. So, but like if you've met me here, then we've been introduced. But for those who may not get through or may not get a chance to interact, I'm always available. I have space open every day. I open space because it's something I like to do. It gets me out of my head. It's like my medicine, being of service this way. So you can catch me most days of the week. I have some space. I open blocks. So
cool. There you go. You heard it. I can't say it any better than that. I just want to say that this is the Everyday Psychic Show. We came up with this name because it's for everyday people. Kind of like some people have no experience in this realm. And this is like a way to kind of bring you in so that you can see for yourself. You don't have to go, living your whole life having an understanding or conception of whatever this is that we do based on what somebody told you. Come and experience it for yourself. So hopefully, you guys are getting something out of this and getting some new information for yourself. Paint your own pictures. It's your life. I want to ask you, Kimberly, really quickly, something about me, really quickly, 5 minutes. Lately, I've been having something going on with my heart. It's something, I don't know what it is. It's not like I'm going to have a heart attack and die, but something. And I smell weird smells out of nowhere. Like there's nothing, no source for this smell, but I'm smelling it. And I'm having something with my heart. I don't know. I'm taking too long to say this. And I'm writing a book.
Well, I got to jump in. I just hearing that your heart was broken.
My heart's been broken a whole lot of times.
Yeah, I'm talking about it's still a fresh wound there.
I hope my girlfriend ain't listening, because then she would know about my other girlfriend. No, I can't say that. No, I don't know. I can't be too personal because I got.
I know, because you make this hard, Drew, because everyone knows you, and you're asking me this personal stuff, and I'm just going all up inside of your heart, and I don't know how far to go. I'm honoring boundaries, but everything you say, I'm just seeing a sorrow there. It's about releasing,
I'm writing a book too. I'm writing this kind of memoirs kind of book.
That's
it's got a lot of sorrow in it.
And so you're like realigning with all that stuff, So as you're doing this, be sure that you consciously release. Like after you have a writing session, because you know how the words just come and you're just in that zone, and then you come out of it. And when you're done writing, you just consciously say, well, I'm glad that's not happening anymore. Let me focus on what's happening right now. Call your girl, right? Or you have to release after you kind of walk back through this.
That is so simply beautiful. It's so simple and it's so beautiful. It's like release. Just say, I'm glad that's not happening anymore. Because you do.
Look fresh. You're talking about the past, but to me, maybe, you're realizing that some things you thought you had resolved, still have a punch, it's still You're not neutral about these things that you're revisiting. It's not like you resolved it and you can face it and not feel it, one way or another. It's still very powerful, some of the pain. So just remind yourself, that's what our mind does. Our mind can remember things, generate feelings, and then we start to feel like it's happening again, and we start reliving. And then you start to see more of that around you and in the people around you, and you start trying to protect yourself from it happening again. Just let it all go, But they're saying what you're writing is important. There's people waiting to read that, and they're saying something. I don't know if you're going to do an audio book, but they're saying I see people listening to it.
I am. I'm going to, yes.
They're going to be listening to it, and it's going to make a difference in their lives. So what you're doing is important. But
oh, my God.
One of the reasons, your soul has this inspiration and is driving you to do it is so that you once and for all. That's like when I talk about soul-centered genealogy, that's basically what you're doing. You're identifying some family patterns that you've said, I am not going to perpetuate these things.
Oh, my God.
Like you have to get it out because you're thinking about your future generations. And it's like, if I'm conscious of this, then I'm empowered to stop it. And sort of, you're just evolving the family lines. And a big part of that is understanding that they all were doing the best they knew to do. And they're talking about you going back 3 generations to really understand your parents. You've got to go back. We're talking about 1850, 1870, to really understand, because some of the things your third great-grandparents believed and were afraid of were truly taught to your second great-grandparents. And some of that made its way down to your grandparents. And some of it made its way down to your parents. And some of it landed in your heart. And so you're conscious of all this. And so you writing this will free a lot of people. And most importantly, it's going to open you, if you are willing, to forgive them.
Yes. And I've heard some of these exact things, and these are some of my exact beliefs. And so it's just like, oh my God, you're just so dead on, bullseye. And I there's no words. You're just bullseye.
Do you understand what your grandmother went through with your great-grandmother, your great-grandmother? Do you understand what your grandmother had to, they're saying, endure to survive and feel like she had a place in this world? I don't know if you know her story completely. You should look into that. For real. You'd be, oh, wow, okay. Compassion, well, that's all you'll feel at that point.
Wow. The clock is not my friend today, because there's just so much. I want to shameless plug that book. It'll be out in a month, because I wrote it in 2 weeks and it's done. Now I'm just finishing it so I can get it out. It just jumped out of my body.
Well, I'm gonna listen to it for sure.
Yeah. So let's we have callers. I see all of you lined up. We're gonna make sure we get to all of you. I wanna throw this topic on the floor so we can integrate Jenny back into the flow, because Jenny is so humble and just moving into just being there. You still feel your presence, and I know you're there. And usually me and Jenny are talking a lot, but we have a special guest this week, and this is our first special guest, so it's kind of a different kind of flow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, you're our first. Well, it's only our second show because we took a break, but now you're our first special guest. Our first guest and first special guest. So let's talk about this sensitive topic, and let's allocate maybe. Oh, we can't even do 10 whole minutes on this. So let's just do like 7 or 8 minutes on this one topic, which is what are your beliefs about psychic mediums as far as the myths?
I have no beliefs. That's it. There are no beliefs for me. And like to Jenny's point earlier, I think a lot of people think, when I see psychic medium, that it's this one thing, right? And if I go to one psychic, then if I go to another one, they should say the same thing. And it's not that, when Jenny is serving She's operating from her soul's experience, and I'm operating from mine. I just operate from, and we're all different. We're going to pick up on different aspects of people's lives. And I find a lot of clients will tell me, I knew, I came to you for this, but I know like they might go somewhere else to address something else. There's something about my personal experience that resonates. It's really an energetic thing, but every experience is going to be different. And no, this is my perspective. I can't speak for everyone, but I don't believe in telling people their future because I know, I don't even believe this. I know that each one of us are literally determining our today and our tomorrow with each thought that we have. And so I feel like my work and my service, the most I can give someone is to help, like we've been doing, is to call out those thoughts that are leading you off your path because you know it, because you'll feel stressed. Like you said earlier, Drew, I'm stressed. I don't have time. What do I do, right? That's just your signal. Your body, your mind, your heart is telling you, hey, you're off course on some way. What's your course? You know that already. You've just veered off from what you know about yourself and you know what is true for you. So I don't really follow this idea that I don't personify energy or personify spirit. And I think that's the key thing. When I first realized this ability, I didn't know anything about these spiritual jargon, like spiritual awakening. I'd never heard the term. All this happened and opened for me without trying, or I didn't even know. Like I didn't sign up for this. It just happened. It's like that. So
I heard recently, tell me what you guys think about this. I heard recently that we are all intuitive. We all can receive guidance, information. We all can find the answers within ourselves. And some people think, the voices are just turned down. The guidance voice is turned down, but it's not. It's just that the noise is turned up so high. So we have to find ways to quiet our minds and turn down the noise, let the noise go away so that we can hear what our higher selves or whatever it is trying to tell us. Does that make sense? Do you guys subscribe to that belief?
When you try to do that, it doesn't work. Like, I'm going to quiet my mind now. Like, that never works, right?
Quiet mind.
It's an unlearning because the human brain is very active and we fall under its spell. It's designed to keep the human body alive. It is not meant to guide our hearts. It's meant to work with your higher intelligence, which I call heart, right? And the minute we fall to the capabilities and limitations of the human brain and consider that to be our guide, that's all that's happening. For me, it's more about just being conscious of that. It's like, those thoughts you have that don't, how many times you say, what was I thinking when you look back on things? Well, you were caught in your head and comparison and judgment. Well, they look happy, so if I do what they do, maybe I'll be happy. Or, judging, guilt. All these things are just side effects from overthinking and relying on the human brain. And so instead of trying to quiet the mind or trying to stop the thoughts, do something you love to do. And if you've forgotten what it is, go try stuff out until you rediscover yourself. Literally, just do something that brings you joy. And the minute you're not focused on worry and thinking or trying to be right or trying to do the right thing, like you said, like you hop in the shower and all of a sudden your answers come. Like, because your brain is off all that for a minute. When you first wake up, your brain, you haven't been all caught up in the mind budgery. Everything's clear. For at least a split second when you wake up, you don't remember what you were worried about yesterday. Then you remember, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, damn, here goes the day, right? You
right.
have to, you just follow what feels true to you. That's what I call truth. Your truth is what feels good to you. And it's going to be life-affirming activities, things that uplift, enlighten, And everyone is different for everyone.
Well, that's cool. That's a T-shirt. Well, damn, here goes the day. I would wear that shirt. There are I want to ask Jenny a quick question. Jenny, are there things that you do? Because like for me, it would be jumping in the shower, and for other people, it could be other things. But for you, are there things that you do to kind of bring yourself into a more positive space where where it's not such a traffic jam of shit going on in your head that keeps you from, being connected and present?
I use a combination of things. It just depends on the situation. But at this place in my practice, in my evolution, I've gotten pretty good at it. So I can kind of just, let's just pretend I get irritated. I'm fascinated now by the irritation most of the time, sometimes not. Most of the time I'm fascinated by the frustration, and then I love to dig to the bottom of it. Like, where is that coming from? Where'd you come from? What's going on here? Let's seek and look and bolster. So now I'm kind of like not always in that spiritual state of mind, but quite often, only because I do it all day long, every day, whether I'm with my friends or I'm at work or on a podcast. So now at this point, I'm pretty centered. Certainly, I fall off cliffs sometimes. I just stand up and keep moving. Everyone does that. But most of the time now I can be real curious about it. So Kimberly was talking, she might not call it this, but I like to call it alchemy, where you take one feeling or emotion and switch it into another. You can do that a million different ways, one of which is to busy your mind doing something else, like she had suggested, going for a run, walk, stare out the window, whatever it is, just shower, whatever this is. So that is a beautiful tool. Alchemy doesn't have to be turning lead into gold like it traditionally is, but it can be changing one frequency to another, and it's a powerful tool. You have fear and stress coming in, look at it, shine a light on it, rationalize with it, and then switch it to another speed. So it's a conscious building of a muscle. You said everyone's got this intuition, and we do. It just simply depends on how much you want to practice building that muscle, and it's harder to build the muscle at certain times in your life than others, and everyone's going to learn a little differently. For example, let's use physical muscles. Some people who have the genetic makeup to build muscle quickly and keep it quickly, they work out twice a week. Somebody who has lower muscle mass genetically, working out every day and doesn't look like the person working out 2 days a week. It's all about how we each resonate and learn and how much time you're interested in investing. There's a lot of things to do on this planet. Be honest with yourself and do what your heart sings for. So when your mind wanders, where does it go? Does it go to an ethereal place? Spend a little more time there. It'll guide you.
Right, and I like the doing something that makes you feel good and fulfilled. I like that because like sometimes if you're in a bad mood or like I think it was mentioned earlier about my heart got broke, something like I had a bad experience and so now I'm shell shocked and I'm paranoid and I'm looking for the enemies around every corner. Like some people can be in that space. But if I'm in a happy space, then I'm kind of open and allowing things to happen. And like I could have just had a bad relationship ended, and I'm hurt and everything. And then here comes this perfect person, but I'm too jacked up from the past relationship to even recognize this really cool person. And so there it goes. Here they come. There they go. Versus if I'm staying in a good space, in a happy space and focusing on the things that make me feel happy, then maybe I won't be so quick to look past things and live in this box of fear. I don't know what that means. I don't know what made me say that, but I said it. So having said that, that's my cue to once again remind people to follow us. Follow us on Facebook, Heart Over Ego Radio. It's a Facebook page for this radio network. There's bunches of shows on this network. You can follow us on Blog Talk Radio and tune into all the shows, not just the Sunday show, which is what you listen to today. So let's try and get these other callers out the way because they're like blowing up my inbox saying, you said if I call, you're just going to try to get to me. So I'm trying to get to you. But I told you only a few lucky callers will get through. So all you bunches and bunches of people may not make it, but keep holding because we're going to go and jump into one right now. Let me steer this one at Jenny, and we're going to do a speed read if there's such a thing. And she's from speed read?
I was laughing at speed read. Go ahead.
Oh, no, ain't that something? gosh. And also the fact that maybe you didn't get through today doesn't mean that you won't get through next Sunday. So keep up with us on a weekly basis because we like you. We like your energy. Some of you. 360 area code 360-277. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name's Holly. I'm just seeing what you see for me and Ray.
Let's take a look here. They're instantly having me go into your heart chakra, and I'm doing a little bolstering. So just nothing drastic I'm seeing right off the top, but I'm just doing a little sweep. And are you two together now?
Yes.
You're in a relationship now. Well, so we're saying we're going to start here, and we're going to do a speed read, so I'll kind of fit as much as I can in these few minutes here. They're saying what we can't tell you is what somebody else is going to do. So what we can do is beef up your solar plexus and move out any fear and stress. So what we want to tell you is we see good energy between you two. We're not about to place our reputation on guesses. And that's what that would be. If I were to just look at the energy, it looks good now. But we have to keep a wild card in our back pocket because at any time, the shifts can change. Things change. So they're saying what would be most beneficial in this space is if we went ahead and looked at the fear of losing. Because you can't fully engage heartfully if there's a bunch of rattling attachments like fear, stress, and anxiety. So again, at this time, we see a good connection. We see longevity. But what we want to point out is the fear around not having that is not helpful because it gets inside that nervous system. It gets inside the cells, inside your organs, and it can create physical unhealth, dis-ease. So what they're saying is it looks good now, but go ahead and when that fear or stress or jealousy or insecurity comes up, just know that this is the perfect place to unpack that. Why is that there? He's showing up for me every day. Why am I feeling stressed? Well, that's mine. I'm carrying it from past lives, this life, the ancestry, everywhere. So go ahead and start chiseling at those things while you're in this loving, connected relationship, and don't have tons of attachments of what it should, must, and has to look like. That gets in the way.
Okay.
So they're just, your spirit guides are showing up, beaming you with hard energy all day long, showing you to be an empath and intuitive, and also a psychic, if you will. They're showing past lives where you showed up in a psychic space. They're showing tribal trances. They're showing hallucinate vision quests, where you were Native American. They're showing all kinds of connections to this world. Yes. Hold space with this gentleman and then take the time to seek what is pulling you because you have a lot of interest. Seek them. You got time on this planet. It's what you come here to do. We appreciate you for calling.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was fabulous.
Okay. We appreciate you very much, Holly. And that, I love this. I love hearing this stuff because you're talking to Holly, but I'm thinking like, oh yeah, that's about me. What are you doing?
For everyone.
I know it's so cool the way it works like that. Let's do one more caller. One more.
Can we squeeze in another psychic myth real quick?
Yeah.
And Jenny, I'd love for you to chime in. A lot of people believe that, again, like Jenny said, we're all intuitive. Like we all have the sense, but when we're attached ourselves, because even people who do this work are human, like we're human, and we have families and spouses and children, and we may see things, but still there's things that you may have a sense that's coming for someone you love, but it's not that we can easily embrace it, just like every other human. So it's not like we can do readings. Like I don't read for my kids. Like I'm too attached. I want to see. Like I want to see what I want to see for them. I can do readings for them, but I'm always aware that my own attachment, my human connection to them, sort of can get in the way of clear sight.
Yeah.
I agree. I often use this analogy. A surgeon isn't going to work on his own kid in an emergency surgery. They're going to get someone else whose nerves aren't rattled all to hell. Even though that surgeon might do surgeries day in, day out for 20 years, their kid gets emergency wound and they're expected to perform, their emotions are going to get in the way. And I also don't always, I'll give advice and hold space for my family and friends, but I don't always do that because I know too much and it steers my reading a bit. So I try to keep everything neutral. But yes, I agree. I often won't read for the people closest to me. And if I do look at something, I tell them, hey, I'm close here. I'm a bit biased. Let's just take a glance.
Yeah, because, after all, we're only human. Isn't it so challenging to be human sometimes? I mean, yeah. I know. I've been one for this whole lifetime, so I'm kind of getting used to it, but
it's beautiful, though. That's what
it is.
We're here for all of it. We're not just here to be happy and avoid pain. Like, we're here for the full spectrum of the human experience.
Yeah, because like you said earlier, like a person has to go through certain things. I mean, maybe, I don't know about have to, but yeah.
No, we do.
There was benefit. There was something vital that has happened to me in the wake of things that I really wish didn't happen. Yeah, but, it happened, and then after coming out of it, I was like, hey, I'm a better person. But it sucked to have to go through that. Okay, so last caller, because we have to end this show on time for all these reasons, and maybe we can, who knows, if we cross our fingers and think real hard, maybe we can have a part 2 of this. But let's pick one more caller. Let's see. We have let me see. Let's try this Skype caller one more time. Let's see if they are ready to talk. Skype caller, one more time. Are you there?
Hi. Hi, thank you.
Hey.
Hi, it's Lisa, and I've been into the show from the beginning, and thank you for coming back. Appreciate it very kindly.
What's your name again?
Lisa.
Lisa. Okay,
Arizona.
Lisa, what's your question?
Yeah, my question is, do you see me getting better financially, like my income from my paycheck?
Is this on me or Jenny? Who's doing this?
Eeny, meeny, miny, both of you. Why not?
Okay. Well, I'm seeing a lot of things. For when you talk about finances, hold on one second. I'm seeing, like, I don't know, like wherever you're living feels like a chain around your leg. I don't know what this is. There's something about the space you're living in is creating stress in your life. Is that the case?
Yes, that was, and then I left it. I left it 4 weeks ago. Yes.
Okay, and that's going to change a lot for you because whatever that stress was of being there was interfering with you kind of stepping into, first of all, being clear with yourself about what you mean when you say, will my finances get better? And I'm just seeing this idea that you have to clearly define what that means to you. They're talking about just a little bit better isn't what you're looking for, right? So it's almost like the universe is compelling you to be ultra clear about what you mean by better finances. And they're talking about like that being sort of a first step, and then you being open to the avenues to earn the money that you want to earn. And they're definitely talking about learning a new skill set, learning new skills, and finding ways to step into new work where you can use the skills you have and build up on them, or maybe even learn new skills. They're saying it's time for a change in the work that you do. Is that you?
Yes.
Yeah. And so once you start taking those steps of really realizing, wait a minute, what I'm really asking for is a lot of change. Like, I'm ready to change what I'm doing, where I'm at when I'm doing it. I want to change all of that. Once you embrace that and start taking those steps, then avenues will start to open. And they're giving me, like, I rarely see time, but they're showing me a definite period of time where this is a process and it happens over time that and finances improve. There's no quick fix here because you're really, more than finances, are wanting to step into, they're talking about all your talents. Like, you're still discovering all these things that you're good at. I don't even know if you really fully realize how good you are at a lot of different things. People don't know that you're available to even serve in this way. So once you get clear about what it is, that's the first step.
Okie dokie.
Yes. I missed some of that reading, but I want to add just a little bit. My phone was messing up a little bit here, but I wanted just to add, it's probably going to piggyback onto what Kimberly said because I picked up a little bit of what she said. It's very important to add the action to a desired outcome. So manifestation and The Secret and all these books written about this have made us think that if we think about it and we want it, it will appear. Well, we're in a 3D world. And once you have that desire, backing it up with that physicality and finding all the things that get in the way of blocking that physicality. So fear, stress, anxiety are often some of the big ones. So we do also see you landing some better financial situation. It will take time, like Kimberly said. They're saying do the footwork, literally. So put in the applications, keep the line in the water. They're saying a good fisherman won't leave a hole the first 5 minutes that they don't get a fish. They patiently hold space and maybe even put a couple other lines out for other things to manifest. So help the universe help you. Put that desired mind into action. You will reap the benefits. It might not be when you think you should. That's just our ego saying it knows everything, which it doesn't. And the universe has all kinds of things to consider when moving and granting, so to speak. So what they're saying is use literal footwork. Back up your desires with making the shit happen, and you will reap the benefits. You're more than capable. So I'm sending you all kinds of heart energy and beefing up that solar plexus so you can say things like I am and I will and move right behind it and back it up. So good luck on everything.
Thank you. Blessings. Beautiful. Makes me smile. Thank you. I feel better. Thank you.
Glad to hear it.
Good. I'm glad you do.
In
closing. Good. We appreciate you so much, Lisa.
Thank you.
I apologize for the time restriction, but we are at the end of our show, and I want to thank Lisa. I want to thank Keisha. I want to thank Tiffany. I want to thank who else called Holly. I want to thank myself. You can thank yourself sometimes. It's cool like that. I'd like to thank Jenny because she is on. She has something to do right now. We have to make sure we get her out of here on time. And I want to thank Spiritually Guided Truth for chatting it up with me in the chat room. And what show would be complete if we didn't thank Kimberly Virdure? And I want to let you know that you can contact her once again at knowingsoul.com, Knowing Soul on Instagram, KimberlyVirdure.com, Virdure. I said that's fast so you can listen to the podcast over again, just so you can slow it down yourself. And all those links are posted on my on this Blog Talk Radio page, so you can just click it and go to her page, her websites. And anything in closing, Kimberly?
Well, I'm just honored to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, usually our shows are longer and have more time, but today it was a short show. We couldn't, we've been trying this 1 hour thing, but I think I got a lot out of it. Did you enjoy yourself? Seriously, honestly, you could tell me. Nobody's listening. It's just us.
Who, me? Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm always in enjoyment when I'm doing this work. So, like I said, this is my medicine. So.
Good. I wrote your prescription to keep doing this and doing all the things that make your soul fly. And Jenny, how about any closing words from you?
It was a pleasure to hold space with you, Kimberly. I love your energy. I love your work. I'm seeing past lives that we've played in this field together before. Again, it's nice to run across you in multiple dimensions. I appreciate everyone for listening, and have a good night.
And I know I'm doing what my soul it loves, because I can't get enough of this. I can't get enough. This wasn't enough. It was great, but it wasn't enough. I'm like a fat guy at a Chinese buffet. I just can't get enough. But anyway, enough from us. Here's our music to go out, and we hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Everyday Psychic Show. Healing, guidance, and readings for everyday people just like you, to find your way to your highest self and living your best life. Hosted by Jennie McDaniel and Drew Pillow.